you're talking about was published by Paul Slowe, CCH, DSM, Assistant Commissioner of Police retired, and former chairman of the Police Service Commission. Let me remind you, let me repeat that. The letter that you speak of, published on the 10th in Stabrook News, was published by Paul Slowe, CCH, that is a Kasi Krong, this is a national award, Kasi Krong Award. DSM, that is another national award. Retired Assistant Commissioner of Police and former chairman of the Police Service Commission. And just before you go run to talk about the national awards too, the second one, and they are in that order because of seniority. The DSM was given to me in 1998. I was a senior superintendent, 1998. And you know, I get the picture. I get the picture. His Excellency Janet Jagan pinned that medal onto my chest. Or Excellency Janet Jagan. So when you come and you get in thing, you left out all of that. Oh, no problem. I could deal with that. I bigger than that. I bigger than that. Mr. Nandlall, SC, MP. I bigger than that. But let me go back some more to this letter. Let me find. I made some notes. You know, I want wrong talk. I made some notes. Just bear with me a minute, people. I'm going to bring in Mr. Comment to make some comments in the meanwhile on that. Cece, over to you while I look for some of the notes that I made.
I'm glad you left some button for me. Huh? I listened to you, and I see you mentioned Anil Nandlall, SC, MP. You pause between the SC and MP. I'm not certain if it's a vowel left out there that you didn't want to call, but I'm a bit concerned. You said SC, a pause, MP. Anyway, let me go through. I read Nandlall's letter to the press, and I was really disappointed. I expected to be edified on some legal issues, but was disappointed. Perhaps it was like an elephant going into labor and giving birth to a mouse. I repeat, an elephant going into labor and giving birth to a mouse. Many of the issues he did not address. I remember I was a sergeant when I was doing my prosecutor course, and they had the DPP, George Jackman, a wonderful person. And he said in investigating matters and in prosecuting matters, 3 things you need to address. Facts in issue, facts relevant to the facts in issue, facts which introduce and explain. Facts in issue, facts relevant to the facts in issue, and facts which introduce and explain. And the AG has failed miserably in those 3 areas. He attempted to debunk you, but he failed miserably. So I would go over again the Constitution. Article 211.1 and 211 said that the appointment of every commissioner or deputy commissioner is the president after meaningful consultation and with the leader of the opposition and the chairman of the Police Service Commission, whoever will have consulted with other members. And the same goes for an acting appointment of a commissioner and deputy commissioner. The letter that was written is nothing. They did not say that the PS appointed Hicken, I'm making say Hicken, happy to act as commissioner. It said approval has been given for you to perform the duties of commissioner. The Constitution is clear. It's talking about acting. It's not talking about performing duties. And here is what the Attorney General wrote. Likewise, an appointment to perform the functions of Commissioner of Police is an appointment to act as Commissioner of Police. Where you get that from? He's inserting words in the Constitution unlawfully. And if you're going to insert words in the Constitution, You have to go to Parliament. You got to get a 2/3 majority to change the Constitution. The Constitution talks about acting. It isn't talking about performing the functions. And we said over and over again that Happy was not acting as Commissioner of Police. He was performing the duties. It is different from acting. He didn't get his instrument from the president, and quite rightly, he wasn't wearing the thing. The badge is a rank of a commissioner on his shoulder. He was wearing a deputy commissioner rank. So I don't know what, not trying to play with words and then trying to insert words in the Constitution. It's clear. It is pellucid. It's saying to act, and nothing in that letter talk about acting. It talks about approval to perform. And here in other words too, likewise, an appointment to perform the functions. And he put perform the functions in inverted commas, and he put to act also in inverted commas. I don't know what really that mean. You know, the thing is that we went over it over and over again. And Paul, I concur with the letter that you wrote. Happy was never ever appointed a acting commissioner. The president has got to appoint him. And even before, even when Nandlall discovered that, Happy was in there, I think, for 17 or 19 days. And he didn't make no attempt to correct that situation, to correct that unlawful act. That is a flagrant neglect of duty. The thing is that, you know, the Attorney General is just trying as something.
Trying to thing as the boys was saying.
Let me close out by saying, if you want to make some money in Guyana, Paul, if you really want to get rich, want to make someone get rich, buy a Attorney General and the Minister of Justice for what he's worth and sell him for what he thinks he's worth. I say buy him for what he's worth and sell him for what he thinks he's worth, and get back a whole set of money. And I close.
If you make a whole set of money, you buy it for next to nothing. And then if you're selling for what he thinks is worth, he thinks he worth a lot. So I understand what you're saying. But, you know, I made a point in the letter that the man is disingenuous. And let me tell you why. Let me explain to our loyal students and viewers why. Same contention. Let me stick to the facts. Let us stick to the facts. Now, the letter that the Attorney General speaks of, signed by the Permanent Secretary, addressed to Leslie James, was dated on the 30th of July, 2020. In which he told James going on 274 days leave, and Happy will perform the duties of commissioner. James was instructed to go on leave from the 31st of July. That is the very next day. So the letter was written on the 30th for him to proceed and leave the next day. That was Friday, the 31st of July, 2020. So yeah, the next day after that was the 1st of August, 2020. Then the following day, the 2nd of August, 2022. What happened then? It simply means that Happy performed the duties of commissioner for 2.5 days under the APNU AFC government. The 31st of July, the 1st of August, and half day on the 2nd when the president was sworn in. Understand what we're saying here? All this nonsense. One Nandlall talking. Let's stick to the facts. Happy performed the duties of commissioner for 2.5 days under the APNU AFC government. The president was sworn in, President Irfan Ali was sworn in on the 2nd of August in the afternoon of the 2nd of August, 2020. So Happy performed 2.5 days. I'm giving them the half day. So this consultation that the Attorney General speaks of, that Article 211 proscribes, when this consultation, if as I said in my letter, even if the APNU AFC, even if the President Granger wanted to appoint Happy as the acting commissioner, when there was this consultation to be done? The 31st, when James, the Friday the 31st, when James proceeded on leave, Saturday the 1st of August, or the morning of the 2nd of August 2020. When was this thing supposed to be done? When was it to be done? And it is important to note, that once the government came into power, as I've said again in the letter, folks, read this letter, on the 2nd of August, Parliament was convened in September of 2020, and retired Colonel Joseph Armon became the leader of the opposition. That is in September of 2020. There was a police service commission in place at that time. I was the chairman. So between September 2020 and for 9 months, because Mr. Armon resigned the position in January of 2022, 9 months you had a chairman of the police service commission, and you had the leader of the opposition. 9 months between September and when the police service commission was illegally suspended on the 16th of June 2021. 9 months you had leader of the opposition, you had chairman of the police service commission. Why did the president not then initiate the process to appoint Oppie as the acting commissioner of police? Tell us that. I asked that in the letter, and he chose not to address that. He can't address that because there's no justification. And at the end of the letter, he says, he said what? He said, in my respectful view, the remainder of Slowe's letter does not merit any commentary. You can't make any sensible comment because the evidence and the timeline is there, and that is why I say I like to stick to the facts. Again, I say, my students, the letter to Oppie is dated the 30th of July, 2020. The letter to Oppie to James, to 30th of July. Oppie was never written to, and he admitted that. That is Nandlall. The letter was not even copied to Oppie, right? Oppie he learned somehow that he had to perform the duties of commissioner in the absence of James. That letter was dated the 30th of July. James proceeded on leave, pre-retirement leave, 274 days on the 31st of July. Nandlall said that in the letter. The government changed on the 2nd of August. Oppie therefore had 2.5 days under the AP and UFC government. I asked a question, I would continue to ask it. Let the Attorney General address, when was this consultation to be done between the AFC, or between the President Granger and the leader of the opposition, he said, Mr. Barra Jagdeo, and the chairman of the Police Service Commission? When was that supposed to be done? Tell the nation that. And I say further, you are the opposition leader in the person of Mr. Armon from September 2020. And there also was a Police Service Commission until the 16th of June 2021, when it was unlawfully suspended by the president. It's a 9-month period. And if you, as Attorney General, recognize this constitutional atrocity, why did you not advise the president? Or if you did advise the president, why did the president not initiate the constitutional process stipulated by Article 211 to have Oppie appointed? Oppie continued to work as to perform the duties, or to perform the duties until he resigned, until he went on retirement leave in March of 2022. Until he went in, and you never did anything. The PPP never did anything to regularize that. And so as Conway said, he neglected duty. I said there is dereliction of duty. There is not only neglect, there is dereliction of duty. So, folks, the facts are there. And you know, as I've said, as he started out by saying in the letter, the Attorney General, in the first place, he said, false narrative on matters of public importance must never be left on the public record unrepudiated. And that is I agree with that. I agree with that. And that is why I say, I got to address this thing. And I address it on this program, and I will address it on social media, and I will write about it. And so that people who are sensible can read and see what is going on. Can read and see what is going on. I want to bring you back, Mr. Conway, at this stage. CC?
Yeah, and I agree with you because apparently in his letter, the man Chuck, you can hear he last, like he run out of words. You know what thing we say? It is my respectful view. The remainder of Mr. Paul Slowe's letter does not merit any commentary. Chuck, he ain't got nothing more to say. You know he's wrong, he just make a big thing, you know, and there is it. And I said over and over, Paul, we have been saying over and over when we were referring to Happy, we always saying that the man who is performing the duties of Commissioner of Police. We never say the man who's acting. We never say that. We say over and over in our oral and written presentation that Happy was performing the duties of commission. He was not acting. And the Constitution said you got to act. The Constitution talk about acting. I checked the interpretation section of the Constitution, and there is nothing but performing duties. They're talking about acting commissioner. So I don't think we should waste too much more time, but you say I hope that you're able to put something in writing and give it the right circulation so that the position can be made even clearer.
Yeah, and I see a question here by Dionarine. Dionarine, the story is he opposes acting, and it's not only police, public servants acting. Then they get an acting allowance. They get an acting allowance. They're not going to be paid the full thing, but they get an acting allowance for any position that you act in for the duration that you would have acted. In the public service, you have to have been acting for 21 days or more, right? So, and I understand that Appy was never paid any acting allowance. I don't know if that is true, but I understand he was never paid. And then the Attorney General speaks of Appy not wear, the fact that Appy did not wear the badge rank is of no, what he said, is of no moment. Well, let me tell you this. The fact that Appy did not wear the badge rank is because Appy knew that he was not acting Commissioner of Police, and therefore he was not entitled to wear the badge rank of Commissioner of the Police. He knew that he was only performing the duties, and he knew from all the precedents and all the protocols, performing the duties does not allow you to wear the badge of rank of the Commissioner or any other position for that matter. You're performing. If you are acting, there's a process to act. Even if you switch it outside of the Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner, the Constitution, Article 211 speaks to. We have other positions, a personal actor, senior superintendent, whatever it is. Once the thing published that you're acting, right? You got to let act. You wear the badge of rank of the higher rank. You wear the badge of rank that of the higher rank. So I don't understand what, and this is the Attorney General making these assertions. The Attorney General of Guyana, he jumped on the right. And as I've said, the Chronicle, what started this thing and make an old set of nice, I sent a letter to them, the same letter that he refers to. They didn't publish the letter. I checked up to this morning. They have not published the letter. But the response to the letter that I wrote by Anil Nandlall, they published that, they carry an article, published that. How unprofessional can this, how more unprofessional can it be? Yes, it's a propaganda thing. In that, you had an article on the 2nd of August, or 2nd of September rather. All right, I wrote a letter about it. You get a copy of the letter. You never published that letter, but the response to that letter is carried in an article. You see, and I never expected them to publish it. I never expected them, but I sent it. In other words, it says the setup. I sent it to them, and that is what they did. So, folks, let me understand this thing clearly. Let me understand. And I know I'm waiting for him to come again. Because as somebody said, a whining. I roll up my sleeve and I'm wearing. This is a battle that I can take on. Because this rent-free living, right, will continue. I know that it will continue. Yemen want to give up. As I said, the man went to court and opposed me traveling out to the country. Paul Slowe in the end, whether he put CCH, DSM, retired Assistant Commissioner of Police and former Chairman of the Police Service Commission, it didn't bother me. Whether he put it or not, that will not take away, that will not detract from the service I have given to my country. It will not detract, because everybody knows who Paul Slowe is. Even those that they send for come and troll and to talk a lot of crap, right? Even them,